Hi, you're listening to Book Chat with author Vivian E. Moore.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hello and welcome to Book Chat. I am your host, author Vivian E. Moore. I hope everyone had a great week. I hope you're having a great weekend. I have had, oh my gosh, this week has just been, it seemed like it was just incredibly long. But, you know, all in all, I'm still grateful that I'm able to come and talk with you for a little while when we do these podcasts on the weekend, on Saturdays. And so that energizes me, and I'm so enthused about it because, you know, it gives me an opportunity to talk with you about things that are of great interest and of great importance, and that's one of the reasons why I do this podcast. So I hope you're ready for today's show. I am, and so let's get at it. All right. So the title of today's show is Silence Ain't Always Golden, and the topic is the importance of book reviews. So you've just finished reading a great book, but it shouldn't end there. There are a few more steps to complete the process. Number 1, rate the book on a scale of 1 through 5 stars. Number 2, write the review. Number 3, share with other readers. Book reviews are like a lifeline to authors. It's how we stay relevant and marketable in this industry. And it is vitally important that you, as readers, keep the ball rolling. Now, you know, this is not the first time that I've talked about the importance of book reviews, because I can't stress it enough. You know, they just are. You know, book reviews determine whether this book will just collect dust on the shelf, or if it will be a bestseller. But you as readers have so much power. Probably more power than you realize. I mean, you know, it's not just the money that you spend on a book, but the power to, for a book to actually have life or just die. You know, you have that power, and that's biblical, because the power of life and death does lie in the tongue. And so I hope in a positive role that, as doing book reviews is that power of the tongue that will give life. So, short of begging, all authors, all we can do is just make suggestions and request that you share the work. Okay, so you're not a writer. And penning book reviews is hard to formulate and express in your own words sometimes, but I understand that. But if you'll just do the best that you can do, if you can just throw together a sentence and say, this is the best book I've read all year, kudos to this author for writing such a great book, just simple things like that. You don't have to, pen a review as if you're writing another book or telling another story about this book, but just, give a few of the details and let other readers, because that is what attract readers, to the books that are out there. The first thing they do is they look at the number of stars that the book has obtained, and then they go out there and they read the reviews. I mean, you see it now with everything. You can go out to Amazon and purchase anything. They even have a host of reviewers, on the products that people themselves buy and that others, buy as well, because I've gotten them too when I purchase something, and then they'll send a request and ask me to do a review about that product. So that way, when other people click on that item, on that same item, they have a way of determining if it's worth the money that they're about to spend. And so book reviews work a lot like that as well. The people who buy books, readers who buy books, They want to know if these books will be worth their time, before they buy them, even if they're going to read them for free or they get them for free. A lot of times they'll pass up a free book if they don't think it's good, especially if there are no reviews telling you, that this book is worth your time, or, even if it's free, if it's worth cluttering up your, just the space on your hard drive. So a lot goes into why book reviews are so important, because they just are, And I know how hard it is to write a short paragraph about a book you just read. And not to mention how hard it is to keep that knowledge to yourself and not share it with anyone who wants to listen. As a lifelong reader, I can hardly contain the joy of a well-written book, unforgettable characters, and an overall great story. I want to share it with anyone who will listen, and I do that, And I have to be honest. I'll tell you that I don't write a review for every single book I read, but I star them all, because that is another way to let other readers know that, yes, this book is worth your time. No, there's not a review attached to it, but still it's starred to let you know it's worth reading. So that's important. So, if you can't, if you don't think you're articulate enough to pen a worthy review of a book, then just leave the stars to let, that lets the author know that, yes, you read the book and you liked it, you enjoyed it, because you get those scales of 1 to 5 on different levels of the book, whether it's the authors and how the story was written. In a lot of the books that have narration, they'll ask about the narrator, were they good or whatever. So, you get to comment on that too, or star it. So, those things are important as to whether the next person that stumbles across that book will read it or not. And, reviews have nothing to do with building egos. So I just want to get that out of the way right now. It is, however, how authors build partnerships with a multitude of readers, because that's what we want to do. We want to reach out to those readers who, are just waiting for something good to read. And like I said, I can see it from both sides. I really can, because I'm an author, but I'm also a reader. I read a ton of books. And depending on the length of them, I can read maybe 2 or 3 in a day. Listening, I can listen to 2 or 3 in a day if they're not very long. But still, I always, even if I don't write a review, because I do read so many books, and all the time I don't have enough. There's not enough hours in the day, to do every single thing that I want to do. But those books are on my mind, but I always start them. I always do that. And I used to write reviews about books. So if you stumble across any books in the romance genre, excuse me, I gotta take a sip of water. And in the thriller, because now I read a lot of thriller and what is it? Thriller and mystery. Yes, that is my genre of choice right now. And so I'm so enjoying a lot of those books. And as I said, I start them, even if I don't write reviews about them. But I always tell other people about those books. I share them, on social media. Once you finish reading a book, you can share them with anyone that you want to, whether you want to share it with someone, email address, or you want to share it on social media. I always do that, because that's another way. Even if you don't write a review, you share it. So that's a good thing to do. And for one, we feel honored that someone enjoyed our books enough to share a review and pass it along to other readers. As authors, we depend on real reviews and not bought ones from sites that urge you to pay for solicited opinions. Now, what's the point of doing all the hard work of writing a fantastic book to only have it critiqued by someone who doesn't value the many hours, days, and months dedicated to the project? Now, I'm sorry, but I disagree with that entire process. I do. My email, my junk files and my deleted files are just littered with, with book sites that, they go out there and they Google you, or I don't know how they get your email address. Maybe they look at the information that's out there on writers, or maybe that's their job to go out there and look up authors. And then they send you all of these emails, telling you that you can host your book on their site, and if you do that, for so much money a month, if you want to If you want to have a membership, you can do that. And then basically they're telling you that, if you post your book on this site, and if you want readers to give you, to write reviews about your book after they read it, then they'll do that. And I'm like, okay, so basically what you're telling me is if I want a review on my book, and if I want to pay for it, if I'm willing to pay for it, then I can pay for a review. Well, to me, that's cheating. That's cheating. I don't want anyone, if you buy my book, to me, that's enough. Okay? And if you want to go the extra mile and write a review or star it, I appreciate that even more. So, I don't get that. I really don't. And I just feel, I feel like it's not right. Book reviews are essential and crucial to the survival of many authors. Still, it is insulting resorting to such a level to gain a review. And I'm not exaggerating. It's a shame. It is a shame. And shame on those sites, you know who you are, that even offer this service to authors. And I further rebuke those authors who participate in such a shady practice and dishonest actions to inflate reviews. That is wrong. It's just wrong. And I don't know how you could feel good about something of that magnitude. That behavior is, to me, is just, it's just not good. It's bad behavior. We chastise our children when they are behaving badly. And for me, paying for book reviews is basically the same thing. That's bad behavior. It's cheating. It's not fair. It's not right. So, if you can't give your honest opinion about my work, then I don't want it. And if I got to pay for it to get you to say something about my book pertaining to a book review, I'm not talking about advertising and things of that nature, but I'm just talking about paying for book reviews in general. If I have to pay for you to review my book, I'm sorry, I had to take another sip of water, then I don't want it. I just don't. My book can sit on the shelf and collect dust, 400 years, if that's the case. I would rather see that happen than to have to actually pay someone to review my book, and and they're not giving their honest opinion when this happens. There is no way that you can, that the opinion is honest. They're basically, just telling you and the readers what they want to hear. So I would rather have the honest opinion of a book reviewer than someone that I pay to, to write something about my book. And I want to call out Kirkus, because they are one of the big name book reviewers, the more expensive book reviewers that actually, you can pay for book reviewers. And I'm like, okay, now I understand for some people that's not a big deal. But for me, it is. I'm sorry, I'm constantly having to take sips of water. For some reason, my voice, my throat wants to close up on me. And and I can't let that happen until I'm finished. Okay, so anyway, I'm a fan of the truth. And it doesn't matter that I'm a fiction writer. And basically what I'm saying is, yeah, I'm a fan of the truth, but, I basically tell lies for a living. But anyway, to have anything less than an honest opinion of any of my work is an insult to the profession. So silence is golden, but in some cases, it could determine life or death. All right, folks. So that's all I have for you today. And before my voice shuts down completely, I knew that was going to happen. I'm going to make sure that I give you these URLs. And of course, the first one is to Spreaker. That is https://www.spreaker.com/user/author Vivian Moore. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. And then you can follow me, like me, on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I am so sorry. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to close it down right now before my voice is completely gone. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And Tell someone that you love them. I love you. I hope you love me back. Until the next time you hear my voice, God bless you and goodbye.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.